Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
From the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Good evening, chat. How are we doing? Yo, everybody. Wow, we got a lot of people in here right away. Glad to have you here. Hey, William. Hey, Renee. Hey, Paul, Sandy, MN, PJ, Tyler, Staycation, Jason, Dave, PNW, Hope, Amanda, Professor J, Stevie. Damn, we're cracking. Error, YouTube is not responding. That's not good. Is it back? Okay, I think we're good. Chat, make sure you can see me here. Looks like maybe the resolution's messed up. Not sure what's going on. Okay, guys. So what do we have going on today? We're not going to do drama today. We've gone through enough drama in the last few days. Oh boy, I think we've gone through enough drama for several lifetimes in the last few days. But I would recommend, if you're interested, you can check out my appearance on Lou Reviews. You can also check out my appearance on Tommy's podcast. I highly recommend checking out my appearance on Tommy's podcast. That was a really good one. We talked for quite a while about the case and just advanced technology and everything like that. Excuse me. We also talked on the Alien Addict podcast today. Jumped on the Alien Addict podcast. Keemstar was on there. That was a surprise. Pretty sweet. Hey, Blake. Hey, Nathan. Hey, Whoop-de-Wowzers and Chris and Aaron. Everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? So we've been very, very, very busy. I am somewhat looking forward to podcasts slowing down after all this. Yeah, you'd think that podcasts would be kind of finishing up, but there's just more and more and more and more to do. And I've got quite a few more requests as well from people. So I'm going to try to accommodate as many as I can. But then I want to be able to work on improving the production quality of the Hard Truths podcast and trying to search engine optimize that a little bit more so that people can find those audio interviews specifically. And that's what I'll be doing after today's podcast. So without further ado, I think we're going to get into it. So what are we going to be talking about today? That actually is a good reminder. I want to look at the patent as well. Maybe we'll start with the patent. So we're going to look at USA 184. Apparently it was used in a later plane crash later on. We're going to look at the patent that I think Dorian put in the chat. Let me find it. Yeah. I think it's Dorian right here. Found another Lockheed Martin patent Dorian found. So we're going to do that. We'll start with the patent. We'll look at that patent. We're going to look at USA 184. And then if we have time after that, what did I say we look at? We'll look at some of the monopole science that Bob Greenyer put on. I do not have a website. I do have a Spotify account now where you can find my Hard Truths podcasts. It was kind of hard to find. Apparently other people have Hard Truths as their was the name of their podcast. Kind of sucks. I guess I guess everything's probably taken, right? But if you search, you can search Hard Truths, I think, on any of the podcasters now. It took me a while to get them all set up. I had to like search Hard Truths, Ashton Forbes, I think, to find it. Podcast, yeah. But then you can find it. I will put a link right here. So if you want to check it out, I promise I will get the other. There's like 4 or 5 more podcasts to upload. I was actually in the middle of editing them. You can see down here before this, but just did a bunch of podcasts today. They wipe you out, man. Can I pin this? Okay, I pinned it to the top. So if you're curious as to where you can listen to the audio versions, they're up there. The next one will be going up. Will be later tonight. Will be the Dave Rossi, Salvatore Pius, and then after that, I think I have the Roy D. Herbert, and then Chad from the Investigate Earth, and then Timothy Abarino. And then after that, we'll also be premiering the podcast I've done. It's actually probably like over a week old now, with Mark Sokol as well. So man, we got a lot to go through, chat. But the other thing I would say real quick before we begin is that if you didn't check out Jesse Michaels' Thomas Townsend Brown documentary, highly check it out. I highly recommend it. It's so on the nose that it actually made me worry for him, because he's hitting the same stuff we're hitting, right? Jesse is doing his own thing, and he's coming to all the same conclusions that we've been coming to. Like in terms of electrogravitics, scalar potential, scalar waves, even the implications of this not being about aliens and this being about like hidden advanced technology. The difference between what Jesse has been putting forth is that from Jesse's perspective, I think he's more skeptical overall, right? Where he's like still got a little bit of CNN brain. He hasn't fully taken the red pill, you know. He's still kind of wondering if this is all big misdirection. Because otherwise he wouldn't put out that $50,000 bounty, I don't think, right? But I mean, he's literally talking about being able to warp time. Now, people think of time travel like they do in the movies, but that's not what it is, right? Time travel is time dilation. And time travel is like the movie Interstellar. That's time travel. Is that it's not a matter of going back in time, I don't believe. It's a matter of your time being dilated compared to the other people. So theoretically, you aren't aging as fast, but you're still... It's not a matter of like disappearing and reappearing somewhere else, I guess is what I would say, although it kind of is. I don't know. It's hard to describe exactly. Just I think that's the bigger issue, is that we need to understand what time travel really means. Is that your time is either moving faster or slower relative to other locations. Okay, let's get into it. Macroscopic pseudo not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Huh, weird. Yeah, time dilation is space bending, Professor J. You've got it, right? Because time and space are the same thing. Then really when you're talking about bending time, you're talking about bending space, right? And that's the thing. Yeah, so like Dalton is saying, how long is exactly one moment? What does even now mean, right? That's the thing that we have to begin to wrap our brain around. Is if now doesn't mean anything, then bending time also becomes a little bit abstract, right? Exactly. Time is relative, not linear, and that's the big issue. And I think so. Some of the things that you could pull from Jesse's podcast or documentary, whatever you want to call it, is the idea of manipulating time. It's not a matter of manipulating time. It's manipulating gravity manipulates time. Yeah, time dilation. You may hate it, but it's a undeniable truth is that time dilation is real. Whether or not you like it or don't like it, or you can wrap your brain around it, it's absolutely proven without any shadow of a doubt. You can take a clock, go up in outer space, come back down, and the clock will no longer be in sync. right? It's just how it works. I think it bothered the hell out of me when I first learned about it as well, right? In terms of time dilation, because I thought, man, how does this make sense, right? But once you wrap your brain around it and you start to realize that time is all about your frame of reference, and your frame of reference is wherever you are at right there, then there you go. Yeah, YouTube's erroring out, chat. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, we're connected to the wrong Wi-Fi connection. My other connection died. Yeah, I might have to restart my other connection. I think that's what happened. Hey, so I think it flipped over to, yeah, William, no offense, bud, but you're trying to argue against already proven science. Hold on, chat. I think this is the one. Oh, shit. Are we back? Yeah, okay, so that's my internet's gone down. Okay, I think we might be better now. Okay, guys, is it better now? Okay, so I guess we're arguing time dilation real quick while we wait for the connection to figure itself out. There's nothing to really worry. Like, I don't know where's the issue, William, with time dilation in your opinion. So if I'm near a black hole and I'm looking out at a satellite or a space station that's far away from the black hole, then that black hole is going to look like it's going super fast. That's time dilation. If I'm on the satellite or on the space station looking at the person near the black hole, that person's going to look like they're in slow motion. That's time dilation. If you're the person who's near the black hole and you look at your clock, it's going to look like it's moving normally. If you're the person who's on the space station looking at your clock, it's going to look like it's moving normally. That's why there's no such thing as now. Time dilation is correcting based on how close, how much mass you're next to. There's no such thing as instantaneously. That's the problem. Anyway, okay, let's get on to it then. I mean, this isn't really like, this isn't controversial. That's the thing. Yeah, we're gonna move on. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see everything. I'm still getting errors like crazy. I don't know what's going on. Weird. Lost the stream? Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, guys. Should be back now. Gonna wait here a second. This is why Einstein looks like he blew a fuse. I have two internets and one of them is crap, right? So what happened was I was stuck on the crap internet and now we're back on the good internet. Okay, we're back. Good. Here we go. Yeah, it flipped over to the crap internet. That was the problem. Okay. Shit. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so we're going to start with this one. I'm going to zoom it in a little bit. This is a Boyd Bushman. You guys probably have heard of him. He's the one who on his deathbed was talking about alien bodies and stuff like that as well. So Dorian, I think, was the one who found this. An apparatus and method for amplifying a magnetic beam. Does that sound familiar, chat? If apparatus and method for amplifying magnetic beam sounds familiar, then we probably need to be looking at our source material, our MH370 videos, because that's potentially what we're looking at when the orbs converge at the last second here. This looks like a way where you can amplify a magnetic beam, or some similar application to that as well, right? So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. So let's just stare at our source video that tells us how the science can theoretically work. You can see the amplification effect happening here. This is breaking through the Schwinger limit, changing the vacuum permittivity of free space, the epsilon naught, epsilon 0. Okay, an apparatus and method for crafting magnetic beam wherein focusing a magnetic assembly is comprised of first opposing magnet pair and a second opposing magnetic pair deposed in a focusing plane. Each magnet of the respective opposing magnet pairs have a like pole directed towards the geomagnetic center of the focusing magnetic assembly. It's already sounding very similar to what I've been saying, chat. Wow. To form an alignment path, two like magnetic beams extending from the alignment path on each side of the focusing magnetic assembly, each beam being generally perpendicular to the focusing plane. A like pole of unopposed magnet can be directed down the alignment path from one side of the focusing magnetic assembly to produce a single magnetic beam extending generally perpendicular to the focusing magnetic assembly, opposite unopposed magnet. This beam is a magnetic monopole which emits pulses, levitates, degausses, stops electronics, and separates materials. So before, I don't even have to look at the images because I can already understand what it's saying. It kind of scares me that I can understand it. So what it's saying here, let's go to paint. Okay, so how are we going to draw this? Let's draw it, we're going to draw it kind of angularly, okay? So let's do a free line draw. We've got our plane, okay? So we're going to do a plane is going to be in purple. So we've got our plane, right? That's not squiggly. That's not squiggly. Guys, which of these things is free draw? None of them? Whatever, who cares? Okay, so we've got our little plane here. Okay. So this is our plane. Got some wings. Okay, this is our plane, okay? I'm not a drawy boy, okay? I don't know. I mean, jeez, this is ugly. Okay, I'm gonna lose my mind here. Is there really not a way to just free draw on here? Okay. So this is our plane. Now, we've got our three orbs that are going around the plane, right? So we've got orb 1 here, we've got orb 2 here, and we've got orb 3 here. Now, these orbs have they're monopoles. So they have the same charge. So they are repulsive charges against one another, right? And the center of mass of them is the center of the plane. The purpose of this is so that when they create the effector on the plane, they will create this azimuth which will encompass the plane, right? That's the point. And when they converge, now this is where they're amplifying the magnetic, potential or whatever you want to call it. I really don't know the scientific term. And the point here is that what that patent is saying is that now it will be able to create, let's see if this works, a force that is going to, whoa, that's not what I want. That's going to pull the plane in a perpendicular direction. So these are rotating around like a ring, right? And so what's going to happen is the plane is going to get pulled this direction towards our fourth orb, right? Now that we've drawn this, let's take a look at the video again, right? Actually, let's look at the satellite video. So we see the satellite video, the orbs, right? They're mapping the plane here. They're trying to figure out exactly how far away they have to be from the plane, how big the vortex is going to be for the plane. And then they get up here, and now they begin to go in this ring formation, right? Right before they get to the cloud here. And now this is the part where they are creating these azimuth around them, right? And what's happening here is that they're figuring out exactly how big that azimuth needs to be. And then they're going to close they're going to close in, create the amplification, unification of the forces, and then the plane is going to create a perpendicular force. Perpendicular is 90 degrees. That's going to then pull this plane backwards, theoretically towards the fourth orb, which is somewhere else, right? Can be anywhere, probably. Okay. Yeah, it could be vector potential, not really sure. But that's what we're looking at here. Now we go look at the patent, right? It's a magnetic monopole which emits pulses, levitates, degausses, and separates. Now let's look at the images. Now look at that image, chat. Now why don't we need the one in the front, right? We don't need this one in the front. And in fact, we don't need 4 either. We only need 3. Why do we need 3? Because 3 is the minimum number in order to create a geometric shape, 2-dimensional geometric shape on a 3-dimensional surface. So we don't need 4, right? That would work, but we don't need 4. What we need is we just need 3. We just need 3 like this. Because now if you're the plane, you can go through the center of this, right? Squaring the circle, or however you want to think of it, right? We can get inside of this with just 3 dimensions. 2 dimensions doesn't get us there, right? 2 dimensions, you can't get a circle inside of a line, right? This doesn't work. This would work and this would work, but 3 is the minimum. So that when I say that 3 is the minimum number for a 2-dimensional shape on a 3-dimensional surface, this is what we're referring to, right? Yeah, and if you see here as well, all the south, see how all the the magnetic poles are all the same, right? South here, south here, south here, and south here. Because when you jam them together, you're going to get that repulsive force that we're looking for, right? Okay. No, what I said is exactly consistent with what this patent shows. Okay, now let's go here. And this is exactly what it's saying here. Notice how all of the poles are all, it's not north, south, it's south, 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 south. An apparatus for creating a magnetic beam along an aligned axis, the apparatus comprising a focused magnetic assembly comprising of at least 3 opposing magnets. Bingo! At least 3 opposing magnets deposed in a focusing plane. The at least 3 opposing magnets forming an alignment path. The opposing magnets having the poles directed at the alignment path. An unopposed magnet, the unopposed magnet having a like pole fixed directly along the alignment axis towards the alignment path. So what they're talking about here is you need at least 3, like a triangle, right? Because that will create what we need. And then this one here is where to direct the beam. That's what this one's doing here. We don't need that. Why don't we need that? Because we have a 4th orb. The 4th orb can pull and create the entanglement effect that we have here, right? The apparatus, according to Claim 1, wherein magnetic assembly has a geometric center and wherein at least 3 opposing magnets and the unopposed magnet each have a south pole directly substantially at the geometric center of the magnetic assembly. The apparatus, according to Claim 1, wherein the magnetic assembly has a geometric center and wherein at least 3 opposing magnets and the unopposed magnet each have a north pole directed substantially at the geometric center of the magnetic assembly. Okay, this is kind of, okay, we're just going to read through it. There's not a million of these, right? Okay, it's fine. Okay, that's fine. We'll just read through this. The apparatus, according to Claim 1, wherein the magnetic assembly comprises of plurality of opposing magnet pairs deposed to the focusing plane, each opposing magnet pair having two magnets and the magnets of the opposing magnet pairs forming the alignment path. The apparatus, according to Claim 4, further comprising a coil of conducting material deposed upon the alignment path and an unbalanced capacitor coupled in a series with the coil. The apparatus, according to Claim 4, further comprising of a pin array deposed within the magnetic beam. The apparatus, according to Claim 4, further comprising a conducting coil deposed around at least one of the magnets and an electric power source coupled to the conducting coil. The apparatus, according to Claim 8, wherein the electric power source provides the AC current to the coil. So presumably, in absence of the coil, they're using simply vacuum energy of space-time around to suck energy using the orbs themselves and creating the circuit, presumably using the Earth itself as a capacitor. If the Earth itself is a giant capacitor, then potentially they can create the connection, just because of the fact that they're around the Earth itself. At least that's the way that I think of it. Okay, let's go down to 9. A magnetic assembly comprising a first opposing magnetic pair comprising two magnets, each magnet having a... Is this the same thing? Yeah, this one's slightly different. So that one was 3, this one is 4. How come we don't see an image of the one with 3? Same idea here, though. Okay, let's read some of the background. Some of this stuff with the numbers is just redundant. The present invention relies generally to the field of magnetic devices, and more particularly to focus a magnetic field to increase the efficiency of a magnet. Magnets have a variety of commercial uses. Okay, sure. Okay. The need has arisen for an apparatus and method for manipulating and focusing the magnetic field of a magnet to reduce the size and strength required for a given magnet to perform a function. Seems relevant. An apparatus and method is provided used to substantially eliminate or reduces the disadvantages and problems associated with previously used unfocused magnets. The present invention uses opposing magnet pairs to direct magnetic fields along an alignment axis. Yeah, so it's pretty much just this, I think. Boyd Bushman came up with this? This is crazy. Okay, I don't think we're going to read through much more of this, but I think we've already figured out the main overall point of it. And the key here is that this was put out a while ago, right? Yeah, this was... Wait, what? Okay, so he cited 2 patents. $1997. It was anticipated to expire in 2017. It was granted the patent in 1999, so 20-year patent, right? And it expired recently, 2017, 6 years ago. Boyd B. Bushman. Pretty wild, huh? It's pretty good. Okay, good. I'm glad everything's been working fine. Appreciate it. What did we just repost? What are we talking about, man? Let's see here. Notes I've made for the patent. Sorry, I'm just looking through here. Okay, looks like JK Philly fan found another interesting one. This one was abandoned. Magnetic Monopole spacecraft. Okay. What's this one? Macroscopic pseudo-magnetic monopoles and fabrication techniques. Harrington Electronics LLC. Richard Harrington. Huh. Pseudomagnetic monopoles. Plurality of building blocks, each having one outer surface that is substantially a northern magnetic pole and an opposing outer surface that is substantially a southern magnetic pole. The building blocks are assembled to form a hollow object having an inner surface and an outer surface, with all the north and south poles of the building block facing outwardly, such that the entire outer surface of the object is substantially either north or south. The building blocks may be either magnetized before or after they are assembled to form a hollow object. The hollow object may be a sphere. The building blocks may have tapered side surfaces to minimize gaps between the building blocks when they are assembled to form the hollow object. A plurality of the objects may be provided in the kit form as a teaching tool. Interesting. I'm not going to read through all that. This one, though, I find really interesting because it's Boyd B. Bushman. Chi energy amplifier, that's a little too much. Abandon, yeah, no thanks on that one. What else we got? Whoa. Magnetic monopole accelerator. This one doesn't look like there's any update on this. Capable of guiding and optionally accelerate at least one magnetic monopole. Okay. Magnetic monopoles are definitely where we're at. Yeah. Okay, this is... we're not going to be able to go through all these. Guys, you guys are going a little too crazy with this. I don't have time to read 50 patents. Let me see what else we got here. Okay, I'm going to read one more thing here. An unbalanced capacitor is a capacitor that has different voltage across its terminals than the rated voltage. This can happen when capacitors are connected to in series and one of them fails or has a different capacitance value than the others. An unbalanced capacitor can cause damage to the capacitor itself or the circuit it is connected to, so it's important to detect and correct the imbalance as soon as possible. Okay. Not sure why that's relevant. These are the different capacitors, presumably. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look and switch gears for a second, and then let's come back to the high frequency gravitational wave bounds after that. Boy. I'm struggling with the energy right now. Oh, used to make the thing in the patent? Okay. Okay, so who was it that sent me this? I want to give him credit. Miles B. Thank you, Miles B. So Miles B did some investigative research. I don't remember if we found this. This website does look familiar, but I don't know that we ever looked at it regarding this 2015 thing in the past. So we will see. SatTrack Cam blog. It's a satellite tracking location at Leiden in the Netherlands. Tracking focuses on classified objects, i.e. spy satellites. Satellite observations on the Russian Metrojet crash in the Sinai. A Russian commercial flight by airliner Metrojet crashed in the Egyptian Sinai desert, tragically killing all 224 people on board. NBC News now reports that, according to a U.S. senior defense official, around the time of this tragedy, a heat signal has been detected over the Sinai by an American infrared satellite. According to NBC News, the heat signal detection points to an explosion, either mid-air or when the craft hit the ground. Well, they should know. And the quoted official reportedly said there is no indication that a surface-to-air missile hit the craft. The satellite system in question, which detected the heat signal, is most likely the classified SBIRS, Space-Based Infrared System, which I discussed before in the context of the shootdown of Malaysian Airlines Flight MH370 over the Ukraine a year ago. It is one of two U.S. military systems. The other is the DSP, now being replaced by SBIRS, meant for early detection of intercontinental missile launches. These satellites look for infrared heat signature of such launches. I mean, just think about this for a second, chat. They search for heat signatures of missile launches. How do people think that works exactly? Do people just think that they're just like this grainy heat map and they're just looking for heat signatures? Of course not. It's a video. Of course it's a video. Why would it not be a video? What year do we think we're in right now, right? Do we think the military is behind commercial availability of technology? No. They're using cameras, video cameras, infrared video cameras. Okay, let's take it to the next level. You've got satellites, either in geostationary orbit or whirling around. Are you going to look through individual satellites? No. You're going to have a ground-based computer system that's pulling the data together. Okay, well, if we have that and we have a software system, then why would we not create a Google video playback system? The infrared is just the simplest solution to, or simplest mechanism by which to detect this stuff. There's no reason you can't create a full motion video of it. When planes are flying, they accumulate infrared radiation. You could easily track planes with this type of technology, no doubt. No question. Hey, as well, new people. Okay, so now let's go back. Blah, blah, blah. After reading NBC's claim the satellite detection of this aircraft tragedy, I checked with SBIRS satellites would have had coverage of the area in question. Two SBIRS satellites had excellent coverage. The geostationary SBIRS GEO2 satellite at longitude 20 east and the piggyback SBIRS package on the Trumpet FO satellite USA 184 in a highly elliptical orbit. The apparent quick confirmation of the SBIRS detection in the Sinai craft reported by NBC News not only shows the capabilities of the SBIRS system, but also begs the question why information is lacking with regards to the shootdown of MH370 in Ukraine over a year ago. That is interesting. I mean, that means the fact that they were able to detect it that fast, chat, how would they not have detected MH370? But we have satellites everywhere. If a plane crashes into the ocean and explodes, you're telling me we can't detect that on our literal missile system set up to detect it? While the plane's going rogue for 8 hours, we never catch it for 8 hours? It's impossible. We absolutely must have detected it. The fact that they were able to detect it within a day on that crash, they definitely know what happened to MH17 without a doubt. And then they, pinned it on the Russian Buk missile launch, which I have no reason to suspect is not what happened. In my country, which lost 192 civilians in that tragedy, the downing of MH17 and the question of who were responsible are still a hot topic. Now, this was back in 2015, okay? So, maybe that was a big thing still then. This is the Buk missile launcher down it. Their tantalizing clues that SBIRS did detect the 2014 shootdown over the Ukraine. The day after the MH17 tragedy unfolded, a senior U.S. official reportedly told CNN that the U.S. military system saw a heat signature at the time the airliner was hit. Now, keep in mind, they're classified systems. They can't talk about the fact that it's a video system, right? That gives away classified information. We can talk about it because we're just speculating, right? I don't have inside information. We've just been able to deduce this because we've got a leaked video. Okay. This is a very similar statement to the one that was reported in connection to the Sinai crash. At the time, I showed that there were 3 SBIRS satellites, the same as the 2 indicated above, plus SBIRS GEO1 had coverage of the Ukraine crash location. Following the CNN report, this apparent infrared technology has gone into oblivion. There's no mention of it, for example, in the report of the Dutch Safety Board. The reconstruction of the area where the missile could have been launched is completely based on modeling from damage patterns in the aircraft's cockpit. So they won't let any of the intelligence information be used in the official report. Also very important, they're not willing to give away any classified surveillance capabilities, right? Okay. I find it hard to believe, given certain anonymous senior U.S. official quote directly to CNN after disaster, there are no Sibers detections of the MH370 shootdown. NATO interest in the area was at an all-time high. After all, it was a quickly escalating conflict right at the border of NATO. So this is when Crimea was going on, right, guys? This was like the precursor to the most recent conflict between Ukraine and Russia, which has been pretty much going on since 2014. The general perception was and is that Russia, increasingly seen as the new old enemy of Eastern European freedom, is trying to expand its own influence of the sphere into Europe, meant muscle flexing towards the Eastern European NATO members. Missiles should have been a natural point of interest to NATO, as the Ukraine military aircraft had been shot down at high altitude days before the disaster, what must have been a state-of-the-art surface-to-air system, something which should be of concern to NATO, given that a U.S. military strategy relies heavily on air supremacy. To me, it seems it would be very odd if U.S. military systems like Sibers were not watching the area. I agree. In a Twitter conversation, Rainer Creston rightfully points at the weather satellites over the relevant part of the Ukraine during the MH17 tragedy. Cloud cover is detrimental to IR detections. Now that is interesting. Cloud cover is detrimental to IR detections. Can we see through the clouds? We cannot. And this also explains why the clouds are so bright, because they're giving off infrared radiation. There's more infrared radiation near the top of the clouds than there is near the bottom. This is how we can see the depth, right? Same idea here. This is the highest point. These are the lower points. We can't see through the clouds, even though this is in infrared. We see the plane glowing in infrared, and we don't know the relative sensitivities here as well. This can just simply be a quote-unquote false color infrared. That's why this can easily be nighttime. There is no directional light source anywhere in these videos, which should be apparent when you look at any of the clouds. And this is why I just simply ask people, okay, where's the directional light source coming from? What direction? Right? Look at this cloud right here. There's no light hitting any direction of this cloud. That's because we're not looking at light. We're looking at infrared radiation. Okay. Timing you out, King. Give you 10 minutes. Please don't just make, declarations, false declarations in the chat. I mean, we're literally just reading. Cloud cover is detrimental to IR detections. But a SAM would still be detectable once it has been cleared of the cloud cover. Exactly, right? Once you've been cleared of the cloud cover, now you can see it. Same way you can see a plane if it's over the clouds. According to the report of the Dutch Safety Board, the cloud base present in the general area around the time of the crash was scattered between 1,000 and 5,000 feet. Cumulus clouds, chat, 1,000 and 5,000 feet, with occasional peaks at the top of the cloud deck. These latter were localized thunderstorms. Airfields in the vicinity of the reported scattered clouds, 3,300 feet, and a broken cloud cover at higher altitude. This suggests that a missile would have been visible once clearing 1,000 kilometer altitude, unless it was cruising through a cumulus tower from a thunderstorm. Most relevant to me is still the tantalizing CNN quote of a senior U.S. official reporting a heat signature suggesting there was Sibers detection of the missile above the cloud cover. Pretty wild. Yeah, some people will still never realize that it's nighttime, right? Pretty crazy. I mean, this is pretty much confirms what we're looking at right here. This is the Sibber system. You're looking at it. You're looking at Sibbers. What would they do, guys, to protect their Sibber system, right? I mean, we're looking at a Citrix session logged in with the mouse. We're looking at a cropped screen here, guys. Somebody fake this? You guys got to get real, man. How can you guys just not accept that this is a real video? We have 2 videos in perfect synchronization. People still can't accept that it's real. And again, the only reason, like even Keemstar said today, the only reason why people can't accept that it's real is because of the orbs. If you just remove the orbs here and we were just revealing Sibber system, I don't think anyone would have any problem with it, right? We're literally looking at the cumulus clouds here with the infrared radiation on them. The plane is right above the cumulus clouds. We're looking at above the ocean here. Like, do people think that satellites don't work half the time? Of course they can see at nighttime. Like, that's kind of a requirement for satellites. Otherwise, what? Sorry, our satellites don't work half the time. Come on, guys. We just need to use common sense. It doesn't even require, you don't have to be a super smart person. You just got to use common sense. And then people are like, whoa, common sense means that you can't teleport a plane. Well, why? What physics prevents it from being possible? None. That's the whole issue, right? Let's look at our second one. So first one is good. I mean, it's not, I'm not going to say that was like a Yahtzee moment, but it's pretty significant in terms of understanding the capabilities, right? And how they talk about the capabilities, right? They've been able to detect it right away. They can detect it right away, and they are issuing reports right away, but they're not willing to have any of the technology or evidence be used in any official reports that are out there. Yeah, missile detection requires constant eyes. It definitely needs to work at nighttime. Doesn't missile detection have to work at nighttime, guys? This is just like, again, the debunkers out there, the reason why these videos have broken their minds is because they have to ignore reality and ignore logic in order to assume the videos are fake. And the problem now at this point is that we've got the debunkers now, like they're committed now, right? Early on, we were joking about how like there's no reason for debunkers to get so emotionally invested, but now they're pot committed, right? They're emotionally invested now because if they're wrong, now they're not only is their whole worldview get shattered, but now they look like morons, right? If these videos are now proven to be real, then Mick West's whole career is over, and all his cultists, no one will ever listen to anything they say ever again, right? Not even like literally never, because anytime anyone brings something up, they'll just go, "You guys debunked the real MH370 videos, and 239 people potentially passed away on that. You're ghouls." As people have told me, will literally just flip the compassion argument right back on them, right? They debunked the real fate of 239 people. There might be criminal charges for them trying to cover it up, depending on if any of them were being paid to do so, right? So the issue now is not only were they unreasonably committed for no reason, now they're 100% committed, right? Because now if these videos are proven to be real, now some people's lives are over. Some people's whole weird personalities and debunking personalities, like they're done forever, right? So that's the reason why we are also going to step away from this, right? Because these people need to just dial it back a little bit and maybe start to come to some common sense. Like, this is how the Sibber system works. There's no way this video can be fake given the fact that it confirms how the Sibber system works. I didn't even know there was a Sibber system before when we were first looking into these videos. And I've said consistently that if these videos were real, we would be able to authenticate every aspect of them. And that's exactly what we've done. Now people wonder, so how can you dismiss a Pyromania VFX that doesn't match? Well, that's simple. It doesn't match, right? Oh, well, I can resize it and recolor it and reshape it and edit out this part and copy in this part like that. You've already lost the plot if that's what you're doing, right? The cloud debunk is better, but the problem with the cloud debunk is we already proved the clouds are moving. The fact that there's 2 videos rules out 2D assets. You have to use a fully 3D rendered environment in order to get the clouds to match up in both videos. There's no reason, no logical basis for using a 2D picture. So it's much more logical that the 2D picture was generated off the videos than it is the reverse. So unfortunately, the weight of the evidence still far outweighs the debunk efforts. And we've been consistent this whole time. If you want to debunk the videos, find the supposed hoaxer, man. You got $150,000 on the line. For the record, the $150,000 is no longer on the table anymore, right? One thing I want to say here as well right now, for the record, the $150,000 is off the table. And the reason why it's off the table is that, I don't know, a day or two ago, I made a post on one of Kim Dotcom's posts that he made about the Ukraine war. And I said something about like breaking out the orb tech or breaking out some kind of technology. And later on, I was going through my notifications and I click on one of it and I noticed that one of my replies was hidden. Kim Dotcom hid one of my replies. That was pretty weird. And then he also unfollowed me. So I unfollowed him in return. We will no longer be supporting Kim Dotcom in any way, shape, or form. And for the record, I want to state, I do not trust Kim Dotcom at all. I never really trusted him. And as again, for the record, he told me that the United States government controls his assets. And they've controlled his assets for years because of his copyright lawsuit for the mega upload. So he is the one who pressured me the very next day the debunk came out to speak out against the authenticity of the videos and for the authenticity of the cloud picture. And yes, I don't trust him at all. I think that he's either very close-minded or potentially being used by the U.S. government directly. He has a direct financial interest in it. So. Oh, yeah. So, and just in case that's not clear, what I mean is Kim Dotcom literally told me that the United States government has his money and pays it out to him like an allowance. I'm not joking. Literally told me that directly. Okay, so I've always been highly skeptical of him, and the only reason why I haven't spoke out against him previously is because he never really said anything directly against us, but he did like ghost me right after that whole situation. Even after I showed him all the reasons why there couldn't be 2D assets. So, yeah. And yeah, hey Ellie, hey Sandy, how are you guys doing? Nice to see you here. Okay. Now let's go back to the second video. Yeah, and so just so we're 1,000% clear, no one should trust Kim Dotcom, anything he says. I don't know what his deal is or what side he's playing or whatever is going on with him, but I would not trust him, period. He's a smart guy, too. He's a smart guy, so, you know, I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, let's see the next one. USA 184. It has been a while since I last observed objects in highly elliptical orbit. Most of my focus recently has been about KH-11 in low Earth orbit on geosynchronous objects. Oh, I guess it's still a lot of unclearness about the situation around Kim Dotcom. No bounty was ever paid to anybody. Kim Dotcom wanted to pay a full $100,000 to Jonas just for supposedly finding pictures, and he didn't even find them. And I had to convince Kim Dotcom that made no sense at all because that wasn't even that was literally not even what the bounty was. The bounty was for the hoaxer to come forward with the source files, not for somebody to come forward with a random picture. And so Kim Dotcom wanted to pay that out, and I said, no, that's stupid. That's not even what the bounty has been for. And then instead he said, oh, well, I'm going to give him $10,000. I want to pay him something, $10,000. And that's what Jonas was offered, and that's what Jonas turned down after he had initially agreed that he would take the money, and a contingent upon signing an affidavit. So just to be 100% clear, nobody got paid a single cent. No bounty was ever paid out. Not even a fraction of the bounty was ever paid out to anybody. Nobody got paid anything. And yes, to JK Philly fans' point, His attitude towards Greer also really turned me off. The way Kim Dotcom came after Stephen Greer was super sketchy. Super sketchy. And it wasn't just the way he came after him. His argument was so stupid, right? Kim Dotcom's argument of why don't the aliens just give us the cure for cancer and put it on the blockchain just showed that he has no comprehension whatsoever of what we're dealing with in terms of disclosing this information. And remember as well the whole thing where Kim Dotcom had to explain why he was getting involved in the UFO stuff when that was something he never got involved with before either. The whole thing is sketchy. It could very, very easily be, and again, this is speculative. This is just my opinion. I'm not making any statements of fact here. It could very well be that he was influenced to get involved in the situation. He's a very smart guy, right? He could very well have been influenced to get involved in the situation. That's what scares me the most about the situation, is that he could have literally been involved. He could have gotten coerced into doing it. And one of the methods of disinformation that's very common, I'm not accusing anyone of anything here, but one of the very common methods of disinformation is you get somebody to get on your side and then you pull the rug on them, right? Peer pressure is very strong. So I think, are we good? Hopefully there's no other follow-up questions on that. I want to focus back on the science part here. Nah, we don't need any more bounties, guys. There's no hoaxer. The problem with the bounty at this point is that the hoaxer would have come forward already. And in addition to that, the bounty only incentivizes some of these like Reddit nut jobs to like make fake claims like that Joe person does. You know, like there's a lot of mentally ill people like that Joe Lancaster guy or whatever, Lanchester, I don't know, whatever his name is, where like they're messed up in the head. And so they want attention. And so they make these claims. And I don't really want to be playing whack-a-mole with every nut job out there who's trying to pretend like they made the videos. Because the problem is now that the same way where we were unsure about the video letter to me is that there's so much evidence out there now where people could use that information to pretend like they made the videos. And I don't want to be trying to battle it all the time. The only way that anyone would be able to prove the case at this point is they'd have to bring the source files with them, right? We've given too much information out. Okay. Last Saturday evening, however, I targeted USA 184, classified military satellite in high elliptical orbit, which hovered almost in the zenith from my locality. Okay, well, what are we doing here? So we saw 184. Who cares? Okay. Is that it? Okay, well, this doesn't really tell us anything. We already knew that 184 is a highly elliptical satellite. Maybe this was a little bit of a waste. Let me just see. Yeah, I've already looked into Marco Lambrook. Marco Lambrook was one of the very first people that blocked us. Marco Lambrook is an idiot, unfortunately. We actually are smarter than Marco Lambrook is, so... Well, what it took for us to reverse engineer the satellites was like 10 times more complicated than Marco Lambrook's analysis. And when I came to Marco Lambrook to try to figure out the satellite in these images, in the satellite picture here, he got super defensive and wouldn't answer any questions about it. So it's safe to assume that Marco Lambrook is either a full CNN brain moron or that he is compromised as well. I think that it's safe to assume one or the other. Either way, doesn't really matter. Anyone who's not a doctor, who puts their name as a doctor, is not somebody you should be listening to in general. So Marco Lambrook is the person who reverse engineered the Trump satellite picture that has the huge shadow in it, which is very trivial to do because you have a huge shadow in your image, right? What it took for us to figure out USA 229 is infinitely more difficult. We have to look up every single satellite that's out there, right? This is a lot more difficult. Okay. Sorry, I'm checking the Discord. did we hit all these? Yeah, I think we hit all these. Is he the one that's doing the sat tracking thing? Is his name on any of this? I don't see his name on any of this. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Oh, sorry. There's more over here. Let me dig into this real quick. So basically, I think the takeaway there is that SIBRs can definitely detect some of this stuff, and they detected it really quickly, but it's not really no gotcha moments really in that front. Sorry, I'm still looking at here. Wait, this one, what is this one here? Yeah, I'm going to paste this in here. Okay. U.S. military has one classified system. Moondust asks, why did you block Cambria on X? Is that really a question that needs an answer? The guy's a nut job, for one. Second of all, he's been defaming me nonstop, even made a whole video defaming me. If you're going to be one of these like moron idiot debunkers who dresses up and cosplays as Neo, who's desperate for clicks because your videos get no followers and no views and you've been doing it for years and years and years, don't be an asshole. If you're going to be an asshole, I'm just going to block you. I'm not really in the interest of entertaining every stupid moron who thinks they're some kind of debunker genius. Most of them are just absolute idiots, right? Go do something productive with your life, Stevie Cambria, whatever your stupid ass name is. Go do anything useful with your life, man. Like, find a new gig, you know, instead of like grifting people for $20 donations on your YouTube channel, okay? The irony of this guy calling anyone else a grifter, it's not lost on me, chat, right? Most of these people just project their insecurities on anybody else, okay? So he's not getting unblocked, not ever, right? And just as a statement of fact, anybody else who's getting blocked on Twitter at this point, your best bet is hoping that next Christmas that I have a change of heart and feel like unblocking everyone again, because nobody else is getting unblocked until then. So be very extra cautious on what kind of stupid crap you want to say to me, because if you get blocked, that's it. And it doesn't take much. If you're out there going, you're a grifter, you're an idiot, blah, 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 like all the stupid shit I see all like from these people, you're going to get blocked right away. And that's it. You're gone. You're not coming back. Okay. So, you know, you've got one chance, you know, use it wisely. Because I don't really have much patience anymore. The reality is I don't care about what other like debunkers and crap think. It's not relevant to me. If you guys want to be like all mentally ill, like I see some of these Redditors, like some of those Redditors and some of the live stream chats, these people are like, we need to bring back insane asylums, dude. Okay. Oh yeah, so the field strength goes up exponentially when the orbs converge. I had that on one of the other things here. Where did my... Oh, that's not it either. We don't need it. We don't even need that anymore. I don't know where that thing just went. I just had some stuff saved on a notepad. Now I think it's gone. Oh no, there it is. Okay, I don't know why that was so hard to find. U.S. military has one classified system of optical satellites, which are much better than 1 meter capacity. The KH-11 improved crystal, evolved enhanced crystal. I mean, this is not stuff you can know. It's all classified capabilities. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm guessing this is the Marco Lambrook guy, but like none of this is all speculative, right? He doesn't know what the capabilities are. So let's see what else we got going on here. Okay, so I think I think that's it for that. Let me just see if I missed anything else. Oh, so Miles, that's funny. If that guy is Marco Lambrook and Miles is listening, then yeah, that was one of the very first people that I reached out to. Was Marco Lambrook. Okay, well, this might be interesting. Seems much more likely that USA 184 is the relay satellite, since it could see all the others. That's what the point of why you'd have your satellite way up here, right? It's not to look at the Earth. It's to look at all the other satellites that are around it. The real thing I'm wondering is if it really was stereoscopic and that you would be looking at it through these side satellites. Could they really be that far away and able to see it? That's the thing I find interesting. It's the exact amplification device in Tesla's blueprints. I don't know about exact, but I'm sure it could be similar. It's over, I mean, it's over 100 years later, you know. It's probably not the exact same one. Now, this is pretty interesting by Miles, right? So these are the geostationary satellites, presumably. This is US. I already know this one. This is how much I've been looking into this. This is NROL 34 right here, Mentor 5. Because this was one of the first ones I thought could be looking at it. In fact, now that I look again, it does make me wonder 100%. And there's Inmarsat's satellite. That's POR right here, right? Pacific. Wait, IOR and POR. This is IOR, Indian Ocean. Pacific is over here, right? Yeah. I wonder if it's possible that it could be Mentor 5 and Mentor 1. What if it was these two geostationary satellites? What if they can see that far? What if these satellites can see so far that they can actually create the stereoscopic imagery we see here? Man, that would be crazy resolution, huh? Could that explain why the clouds really have so little movement? Is that it's way further away than we even thought? It's 40,000 kilometers away. I don't know. Maybe we do need to look at this one real quick. It's one of the things I keep coming back to is maybe we're off on USA 224 or 229. This would seem like a much better candidate just because of how close it is and clearly like just staring right down at it. And it's got the side-by-side satellites. But perhaps the Sibers is a better, the geostationary are a better candidate. Let's look at this one next. There is no Sibers picks, man. Do you understand what the definition of classified is? Definition of classified is that these people that leak these pictures go to prison for the rest of their life or they are given the death penalty. So there is no publicly available Sibers pictures. The closest we have is the Trump picture. That's literally it. There's no more else. Yeah, William, even the ones like even USA 229 is 1,100 kilometers away, just because it's such a low period of time in each perspective of like 5 to 8 seconds, we wouldn't expect there to be a lot of movement of the clouds. Just like when you look outside and you look at the clouds that are only a few kilometers away, they don't look like they're moving, right? If you look at the clouds for 5 seconds, take a camera, they're not going to look like they're moving. Pretty clear. Okay. Over the past few days, it has been clear that the Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 flew for 7 hours. Well, it's not that clear. Okay, so we don't need to go into all the history of the plane. We know that. South Indian Ocean. Is this him? Oh, this is Marco Lambrook. There he is. Yeah. Now this makes it even weirder that he blocked us. Okay. So how does shutting off the ACARs not fully disable the ACARs? Someone shut off the radar transponder beacon and the active ACARs messaging system. This does not fully disable the ACAR system. I want someone to dig into that for me. Because they claim that it was shut down at 1707, but we still have full data after that until 1840. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, this is just basic reasoning. It doesn't require expertise or anything. Why are we still seeing full data from 1707 to 1840 if the ACAR system was shut off at 1707, is what they claim. Can you elaborate how you came to view these videos? Yeah, social media back in August, early August 7th. The videos reemerged. They've been out there. We've proven they've been out there for 10 years. And they've been posted periodically, but it wasn't until recently people actually started to think they could be real. And we've been investigating them for 6 months now. And we've investigated every aspect of the videos, as well as every aspect of the plane going missing, all the old news reports, all the evidence, literally everything we've gone through at this point. Yeah. Okay, so this is press releases. Okay. This is... When was this post? This was March 17th. So this is the 7th arc that they're talking about right here. Right, because this is where they're searching, I'm pretty sure. Only Immerstat received these pingbacks. Okay. Could U.S. SIGINT satellites provide additional receptions for these pings? One source of such additional pingback signal receptions, in theory, could be one of several signals intelligence satellites employed by the U.S. military. Signals intelligence SIGINT, there it is again, chat. Please note I say in theory, as the U.S. government hasn't provided any statements that they did. Well, yes, of course they didn't, because they wouldn't. They wouldn't ever do that. So, guys, signals intelligence, Lieutenant Commander Edward C. Lin, every article about him talks about his signals intelligence. This is not, I don't know, just feels like sometimes, I don't know, like leading cats to water, you know? Like, man, it's not a coincidence that the guy was literally the month MH370 goes missing is when he gets deployed and then when he gets investigated, that every article about him talks about signals intelligence, right? They're literally talking about the videos. They're literally talking about them. Why would anyone be trying to debunk that, right? The only way I can imagine is only two options. One, they're working for the military and they're trying to get people to stop looking at it and they're trying to cast doubt on it. Or two, their brains have literally been broken by these videos potentially being real and it threatens their entire worldview. Those are the only two rational options I can come up with in my mind. There's no other reason whatsoever why anyone would ever be trying to debunk this. Right? Or, I mean, maybe there's a third option where you have some kind of crazy savior complex and you feel like you're just smarter than everybody else and you've got to, like, somehow, you have such low self-esteem that you, like, feel compelled to constantly do that, right? This is the only things I can come up with to explain average Chris and some of these debunkers like that. Like, their minds have been mentally broken by this or their worldview is just literally threatened. It depends on a lot of factors, blah, blah, blah. Okay. There's 2 SIGINT systems in high Earth orbits that cover the relevant area. The Mentor Advanced Orion SIGINT satellites in the geostationary orbit, and one of the SBIRS Trumpet satellites, SIGINT satellites, which moves in highly elliptical orbit, hovered high above the northern atmosphere. So this is the second one here. They're talking about USA 184. We've already figured out that USA 184 was over the northern hemisphere at the time. The SIGINT satellites used to eavesdrop on radio communications, including satellite and mobile telephones, missile telemetry, and signals from ground-based and airborne radar systems. Okay. So, yeah, they can actually see them. Well, these were from 2009 and 2012, but okay. The Trumpet satellite in high elliptical orbit, which had a coverage of a part of the area at that time, is 184. Yes, okay. So this would be 184 way up here. So if we go back to this image, yeah, so 184 was way up here over the northern hemisphere, right? So this would not have been in range. Geostationary Mentor satellites. Oh, these are part of the old DSP program. I wonder if we missed out on some of these. Huh. So the DSP satellites were in geostationary orbit. 1995 would have predated SBIRS. Actually, so would have 2003. But 2009 and 2010 and 2012 might not have predated SBIRS. And we learned that SBIRS actually utilized old DSP satellites in their constellation as well. Yeah, look at my skills. I definitely faked the videos. Could you believe Lou Reviews asked whether or not I was... I think I was muted when he asked me this. His first question was whether or not I was regicided on. And then he argued that I might have the VFX skills to fake the videos. That just goes to show like how disconnected some of the Redditors are from reality, right? If they have so little logical processing and thinking skills that they think I fake the videos, how would I get scammed out of $3,000 if I fake the videos, guys? I mean, it's just they don't have any logical or rational capabilities, right? And that's what makes me just kind of weep for humanity is like that. It just proves, I know a lot of you guys are smarter than that, but a lot of them are so dumb that like and it's not that they're like stupid, it's that they just believe authority so much that they can't think rationally. Whereas like they can't even put like 2 and 2 together, right? Like the fact that I would have got scammed makes it 100% impossible for me to be registered on or have made the videos. I wouldn't get scammed out of $3,000, right? Like it's the problem is they don't have like logical thinking processes anymore because they've just been so brainwashed by TV and fake academia bullshit, you know? Okay. So is this it? Wow, NOS Naval Ocean Surveillance System. That's 229 SIGINT satellites. Apart from the Mentor and Trumpet signals satellites in high Earth orbits, the U.S. also operates a series of SIGINT satellites with accurate geolocation capabilities in low Earth orbit. It concerns the U.S. Navy Naval Ocean Surveillance Satellite System, of which there are several. They operate in close pairs, orbiting at an altitude of around 1,000 to 1,200 kilometers in 63-degree inclinated orbits. Yeah, we've got one of those, chat. There it is. There it is right there. NRL 34, USA 229. Launched in, I believe it was, what year? 2012? 2013? I've already forgotten what year it launched. That's it. That's your low Earth orbit satellite he's talking about using signals intelligence. Their main purpose is to locate and track shipping through radio communications of the latter. Well, there you go. They're used to track planes and boats. 2 duos of NOS satellites were covering the northern half of the area at the time the last pingback. So he's looking at the wrong time right now. So he's looking at the time of the last ping back when he should be looking at the time where the plane went missing. That's the problem with his analysis. This is where Marco Lambrook falls short, right? Where he's got too much. You can tell right away now he's got CNN brain, right? He's assuming that the pingbacks were accurate. If the pingbacks have been falsified in any way, shape, or form, then this satellite analysis he's doing falls short. We're looking at a time that's 6 hours, 5 hours before the time that he has mapped. And this was the actual Yahtzee moment. When we were looking at the times around here, none of the satellites fit the match. When you look at the coordinates in the satellite video, and this is why the coordinates are so important in the satellite video. If this video was fake, these coordinates wouldn't match the accurate time in which the satellite was in the area. Because the satellite's moving so fast, the satellite wouldn't be there. That's why these coordinates you see in the bottom left down here are so important. Those coordinates indicate the Nicobar Islands. The plane was not in the Nicobar Islands at the last pingback. The plane was at the Nicobar Islands at 1840 UTC, which is almost 4 hours. No, more than that. Sorry, I got to do time correctly. 5.5 hours before the last pingback. This is 5.5 hours difference. That same satellite would have gone around the world 3 times in that period of time. 3 times. So this is kind of useless because he's not mapping the right times and the right locations. China operates a satellite system similar to NOS, consisting of 3 satellite trios in the Yugan series. So these are actually also potentially the ones that leaked those pictures. The problem is he's looking at the wrong times once again. Excuse me. Could one or more of these SIGINT satellites have captured the same ACARS pingbacks received by Inmarsat 3F1? If so, the combination of their data with Inmarsat data could potentially narrow down the last known position of the aircraft considerably. Well, yeah, we would have seen the plane crash into the ocean. It all depends on whether or not their monitoring includes the radio frequencies which ACARS pingbacks of the flight MH370 data operated. But of course, we had 8 hours. In this scenario, you'd have 8 hours to prepare. So of course, they would have figured it out. There's no big ifs there. Like, definitely would have. Let me see. 2 other older geostationary U.S. SIGINT satellites, Mercury and Advanced Vortex satellites that covered the area in East Africa. Yeah, not really in the area we need. They were moved? I thought you couldn't move the satellites. Apparently you can. Okay, let's read some of the comments. But what I wonder about is where are those other arcs from the 5 missing pings? Wouldn't reveal the position of the aircraft. Would reveal if the plane was flying in a straight line or not in the last 5 hours. It would also reveal if the last observations on radar can be trusted in such detail. Based on additional signals intelligence beyond the satellite link communications. Malaysia's transmission of the last ACARS transmission was received from the aircraft at 1707 UTC. ACARS was somehow disabled. Reportedly, the plane's SATCOM system kept replying to the Inmarsat SATCOM ping for several hours. Pretty weird. This again is not explained at all in the data. We've looked at the data. It doesn't change at 1707. The data changes at 1840 UTC. So the question is, why does the data not change at 1707 UTC? None of the experts that supposedly looked at the pings can explain this. It should just be a simple explanation. It shouldn't require complex calculus to answer that question. Why does the data not change at 1707 if ACARS was shut off at 1707? Why does the data only change at 1941 UTC after the 1841 40 ping? Why does the data change at that point? What changes at that time to change the data? No explanation. To this day, no explanation. And how do we know the Inmarsat pings are wrong? Because we didn't find the plane. They searched up and down the entire 7th arc. They didn't find any plane above and below water. Not only did they not find a plane, they didn't find anything. Nothing at all. Not even one piece of the plane. Not any black boxes, nothing. So this is interesting, but the problem, and I remember we saw this. This was on the old Reddit post. People found this. And this is where initially early on, I was CNN braining, thinking that they were telling the truth about these Inmarsat pings. The moment you throw out the Inmarsat pings, the whole story comes together. It's really that simple, chat. For anyone who's out there wondering, watching this later on, the moment you realize that the plane didn't disappear somewhere down here, and that the plane actually disappeared right up here, and that's a 5.5 hour difference, everything comes together. And how do we figure that out? We just have this video. We can see the coordinates in the bottom left. We can see NROL 22 in the bottom left. Now you may say, well, and let me just add this, is that I wonder, I haven't Googled this in a while, chat. Wow, so if you Google the debunk now, you just get corridor crew shit. Oh no, this is still here. This is still here. This is a fake debunk. This website, this debunk should be reported. This is objectively false. Oh wait, no, this isn't the right one. This isn't even the right one. This is a different one. Oh, this is the one right here. This one is still up too. This one's objectively false too. Fact check. This is an objectively false fact check by Tom Norton, who's either a bot. This is probably just an AI. This is probably not even a real human being. That's how stupid this is. Or this guy literally should not be hired by anyone in journalism whatsoever. Because if you dig through here, not only did they initially get the satellite wrong, we can see it says NROL 22. And in here, they literally argue it says NROL 33. It's not NROL 33. Chat, you can just look. You have eyes, right? Why would they make a fake debunk? Why would there be a fake fact check if this video is fake? Why did they come up with a completely fake fact check? It says 22 right there. They're trying to claim that says 33, but you can see the 3 right here. So we know that's not a 3 down there. We know those are 2s. 33, it says, wasn't launched until after the disappearance of the plane. Well, 22 was launched in 2006. This is literally the only detail. And Hoaxeye is one of these fake debunker accounts, which is just a bot account that is probably run by the government to literally just lie about stuff that they don't want people to look into. Same with the other one. What's it called? The UFO Interest, which is run by Scott something or other. Scott Brando was his name. Which is just a literal bot account. We caught it botting fake comments. And his argument was, I can't help other people copy my comments. That's not how any of this shit works. Nobody copies my comments. So, yeah. So this is the other thing that we revealed is that the government pushes fake fact checks with fake information, and they use fake bot accounts and fake debunker bot accounts to push it as well. This is 100% proof right here. You're staring at it. You have eyes. You can figure out what it says using your own eyes. You don't need to be told. Literally just a fake fact check in Newsweek. In Newsweek, chat. Completely fabricated debunk. Completely fabricated. Whole cloth. Objectively untrue debunk. It's not even a matter of opinion. It's objectively false. Crazy, right? I can't believe they haven't removed that yet. Okay. So, this is interesting because these are geostationary. So, I'm wondering if it's possible it could be a combination of 2 satellites here that are viewing the video here if it's stereoscopic. I still think it's possible it's stereoscopic. I don't think it was an accident this was uploaded stereoscopic. I don't think Regicide would convert it to 3D either. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, it's theoretically possible if the capabilities existed, but nobody's really been able to prove that that capability was actually something that Regicide used. I mean, what would be the difference between it actually being filmed in stereoscopic and them using a converter? Not really sure. And we proved absolutely without a shadow of doubt that this video is 3D stereoscopic. We literally made a 3D video. Here it is. This is the 3D video of those two overlaid over one another. It's literally 3D. So I don't know. Pretty wild, huh? I was just drinking apple juice there. We're not drinking right now. Okay. But good find on this. I think this is interesting. It doesn't move the needle too much, but it does make us wonder a little bit. Okay, last thing we're going to do tonight, we'll probably take a look at this here as well. This is brand new, February 21st. So once again, guys, like we're on the cutting edge of the science. We're looking at the stuff that has just been coming out in the last few weeks, months, etc., even days in some cases. The science is catching up to what we've been revealing, and it'll continue to catch up, right? No, Artisan Tony, so the satellites are relaying to ground-based computer systems. We're not looking directly through satellites. That's probably not how they work anymore. They probably haven't worked like that in decades, to be honest with you. So that's the difference between what we imagined in Enemy of the State in like 1998 and then capabilities that we had in 2014. And now those capabilities, even from 2014, are probably very well outdated as well. You can Google it, or you can check out my various pieces on Cibers, where you'll be able to see how we were able to show that they use ground-based computers to relay the information. It's a good question, though. So that's why, again, what we're looking at here is you're not staring through the particular satellite, right? You are pulling data back from a widescreen scan. So again, look at
global persistent.
Whoa, that was loud. So when you look at this here, you realize right away you're not looking through a satellite right here, right? How would looking through the satellite work here? It wouldn't, right? They're scanning a huge swath of area, and they're using this scans where you're relaying it down to a ground-based computer system using signals intelligence, SIGINT, and that's how they can build a virtual map of the world. That's what they're doing. I'd bet anything on it. Anything. This is the proof. We're staring at it right here, right? This isn't a matter of, oh, I'm going to look through this satellite here. No, this is a matter of, I'm going to log into Google Earth, right? Like if we have Google Earth, the military's got it figured out, right? Like I'm going to just log into Google Earth. If you can do this, the military can do this, but they can do this with video, right? Just look at this. Now imagine, why can the military not just go, okay, you know what? I want to look at March 7th, 2014 right here. And then they zoom in. They're not looking through the particular satellite. They're looking at a computer-generated image. And even it's going to be more advanced because it's used for tracking. So it's not going to be just straight down. It's going to be a matter of looking at an angle where you can get depth perception, because you need to be able to understand depth perception. If you're looking at straight down and you look at a plane, you can't tell how high up it is, right? You can only tell that there's a plane somewhere within the view of the picture. And this is actually very close to where the plane was. In fact, we think it would be right about here somewhere. Nicobar Islands. Right about here where my mouse is. Right. That's Little Nicobar. Yeah, I think that's right. So hopefully that answers that question. Good question, though. One day we will get there. And the other reason why we know we're not staring down through a satellite, I got blocked by somebody because I didn't give them enough credit when we talked through this, even though I had already independently figured it out. They felt like I owed them to give them credit every time I talk about it. That was, what was his name? UFO Korea or whatever his name is. I forgot. if we were looking through a satellite, these coordinates in the bottom left would be updated in real time. Even with the geostationary satellites, they're swaying up and down. If it's a low Earth orbit satellite, then it would be moving so fast that these coordinates would be shifting nonstop. But when we look at the coordinates, they don't move. The coordinates aren't moving here. Now, the coordinates only move when the perspective changes. So what that means is the coordinates is looking at a spot, like in Google Earth, they're looking at a literal location. And this is, like, look how much information we can glean just from a video. They're looking at a particular location, right? And when you're looking at a particular location, that's why you can see the coordinates like you see down here in the bottom right here. They only move, if I were to like pinpoint a location here, like let's just say down here. Can I pin a location? How does this work? Yeah. Right, so if I pin this location here, you've got the coordinates for that location, right? That's the location right there. And when they move the perspective, then the coordinates shift, right? If they were looking through the satellite, the coordinates would be constantly moving every second in the video. The fact that they only move when the perspective changes means that somebody is moving around just like I'm doing here and changing the XY axis around. This essentially proves that what we're looking at there is a Google Earth video playback of a specific spot. And that location can be very far away because we don't know how big this view really is. What we're looking at here is a cropped view, right? We know that because we see the mouse. We see the mouse come in from the top. It doesn't just come in from the top or from the right. It comes in from the top right. This is somebody who wants to show us this, because otherwise what they would do is they'd have the mouse already in the middle of the screen. They wanted to show us that the mouse is coming from off the side of the screen. Just like that. See that? They wanted to show us that. I may post about Iran and knocking, the investigation into that Iran UFO thing. No, I don't think there was much investigation. Some people said that it's definitely not a flare, but I don't know how to confirm that. There is a thing where Iran took down a drone back in like 2011 that I kind of wanted to dig into. But that probably won't be till after I retire from the case. Yeah, they must know exactly where everything is. I mean, there's just, at this point, I think we've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt they've got satellites everywhere. Like, the fact, this right here alone is proof they knew exactly where the plane is. Like, this is proof right here. This is proof. This is proof right here. You know, there it is. They knew where the plane is. There's just no doubt. Okay. Last thing we're going to do tonight, high-frequency gravitational wave bounds from a galactic neutron stars. High-frequency gravitational waves, I mean, we've already had a patent by Salvatore Pais about high-frequency gravitational wave generator. They constitute a unique window in the early universe as well as exotic astrophysical objects. If the current gravitational wave experiments are more dedicated to the low-frequency regime, the graviton conversion into photons in a strong magnetic field constitutes as a powerful tool to probe high-frequency gravitational waves. In this paper, we show that neutron stars, due to their extreme magnetic field, are a perfect laboratory to study the conversion of high-frequency gravitational wave. Whoa, Devos. Thank you very much, Devos. Wow. Thank you, sir. Okay, I'm not going to drink tonight, but I will put your donation to good use. I haven't had to say this for a while because you guys have chilled out on the donations, but thank you very much for the donations. Please do not feel compelled to donate to me. I'm not really soliciting for money or anything like that. It's obviously not why we've been doing this, but I thank you. Those donations that we've gotten in the past have helped to get a new camera, which we've been utilizing pretty much every single day. And yeah, it's awesome. Appreciate you guys. I hope that someday I can pay back some of this the generosity that you guys have been putting forth. One of the things that I do plan to do is to get some online tickets for the Cosmic Summit not just to some of the moderators, but some of the people in the Discord as well. I've been told that I might be able to get a bunch for free. I'm not sure, but I'm also probably going to buy a few as well to give away to some people. So that should be able to help you guys out. Because I think the Cosmic Summit, I think, will be really awesome. I mean, there's a lot of connections to the stuff that's in the Cosmic Summit compared to what we've been doing. Okay, let's finish this up. Using realistic models for galactic neutron star population, we can calculate for the first time the expected photon flux induced by the conversion of an isotropic stochastic gravitational wave background in the magnetosphere of the ensemble of the neutron stars present in the Milky Way. Okay. I'm not sure what that means exactly. Let's cite as... That doesn't get you there. How do you... Do I have to download it? There we go. Okay, I just want to see the conclusion. This seems cool, but don't think it's moving us forward. In this paper, we presented the upper limits to the high frequency SGWB from the inverse Gershenstein effect. That's something we've heard of in the magnetic sphere of the galactic neutron stars. Our conclusions are the following. First, since many phenomena could induce a SGWB, it is highly expected that for galactic neutron stars to be an important site for graviton-photon conversion. However, only a large enough high frequency... What is SGWB again? Where is it? Stochastic gravitational wave background. Stochastic gravitational wave background. Okay. God, these things just love their acronyms, these scientific papers. Okay, so only a large enough high frequency gravitational wave background would induce a photon signal which can be partially detected or detectable by future experiments. Could be explained by the mergers of light primordial black holes. Secondly, we derive competitive upper limits in the frequency range of 10 to the 8 or 10 to the 15 hertz, confirming and improving some frequency range, the existing constraints from similar studies in the geomagnetic and galactic magnetic field. Okay. Doesn't tell us much, but still pretty cool. Still a cool paper. They are digging more into, this is pretty big. The point here is we're understanding that there may be some conversion between gravity waves and photons, right? So second order effects, right? So second order effects, once again, what are second order effects? Second order effects are the idea that you can take like two photons or two phonons, sound waves, light waves, and you can create a phase conjugation event that can occur, where now you're getting a second order effect higher up than that, which would be manipulation of gravity, manipulation of space-time. The same way that we can take a hologram and we can take a 2D image and we can use optical phase conjugation to create a 3D image, which is what? A hologram, right? That's an extra dimension that's being added, right? A 2D picture, a flat 2D picture, and we can convert that to a hologram, which is a 3D image. That's an extra dimension that we're adding. Okay. So that's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and throw this in the chat just in case I missed anything and you guys want to check it out. I don't think I missed anything. Hey, Bernie, nice to see you, buddy. The magnetic beam amplification seems extremely important. This one's really big. I'm probably going to post about that tomorrow. You can't zoom in on this? How come I zoom in and it just zooms out? Maybe, do you guys think that Grok knows this one? We might do one more, although I'm clearly tired at the moment. Just been doing a lot of talking, man. It's been like 5 hours of doing podcasts today. I'm starting to lose my voice. Okay, what's this called? Summarize in bullet points Summarize. I think I can show this now. I was like basically accidentally showing my DMs as usual. Summarize in bullet points. Paper. Superconductivity of the Dirac monopole by what? What chat? Guys, Grok failed us. Thank you, Burn. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, thank you, Tony, as well, for being here. Sorry you got in some drama today with Keemstar. I told you it's not worth going to battle against him. Let's see. I heard that Keemstar is going to go on your podcast though, Tony. I think that'll be worthwhile. You can ask him all your tough questions, but I think Keemstar's heart's in the good place, man. Yeah, of course he's interested in drama. He loves drama, and there's plenty of drama in the UFO community. Okay, I think I'm going to read this later, chat. I'll put this in the chat for you guys if you want to check this out. We may go over this tomorrow. I'm probably going to read this later tonight, but I've got to finish my editing. I'm probably not going to go live again until I finish the editing the last podcast. It's taken way too long. I need to get it out there. So take a look at that tonight, guys, as well as check out the podcast that I posted on Twitter today. And then tomorrow, I may do something about the satellites. I'm not sure, but I want to get the other content out that we've been waiting for as well. And yeah, and Tony, go ahead and feel free to ask Keemstar any of your questions. I'm sure he'll be honest and open about them related to the UFO community. And as you guys can tell, we are already starting to shift more into the science aspect of everything. We're very close. And if anyone wants to and hasn't yet, not only watch the podcasts, you can re-listen to some of the audio of the hard truths that we've done. And then because now we've learned a lot more, it'll start the concepts will make more sense. And then you can also check out Jesse Michael's Thomas Townsend Brown documentary. It's really well done. I mean, he's coming to the same conclusions that we're coming to regarding the science, especially when it comes to stuff like scalar waves. And I think that Thomas Townsend Brown's anti-gravity is kind of the basis for where we're at now, almost 100 years later. So, or 80 years later, I guess we can say. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go to sleep. It's been a long day. Thank you guys very much to chat. Devos, once again, thank you very much for the donation. It's very generous of you. I appreciate it, sir. Sir or ma'am, I don't know. And have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace. I'll also put a link to the Discord real quick for anybody who is not already in there that wants to join the public Discord. I'm going to make it for the first, let's do first 5 people. The only reason why I limited it is so we don't get trolls. Okay, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.